Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you in class. There are two ways to find the center. So the first method you could do is use the formulas. H is equal to the coefficient of x divided by 2, and k is equal to the coefficient of y divided by 2. You could use those to find h and k, and then find the minus h and minus k. But this is the second method that I wanted to show you. So say they gave you the general equation, the general form of the equation, just like that question. So that's x squared plus so that's x squared plus y squared plus 2hx plus 2ky plus c is equal to 0. So if you don't want to use the formulas, what you could also do is write this in the standard form. So the first thing you want to do, group all the like terms. So hold on, let me just rewrite this. Y squared plus 2hx plus 2ky. Remember that c, the formula for c is h squared plus k squared minus r squared. So you see this c right here, I could replace it with this instead. Right? So let's do that now. So instead of writing c, what I'm going to put is the plus h squared plus k squared minus r squared is equal to 0. Trying to write this in the standard form. Next thing you want to do, you want to group all the like terms. So first I'll group all the terms with x in them. I'll group all the like terms. So all the terms with x and then the ones with h's as well. So that's x squared plus 2hx plus h squared, and then I'll group all with y and k. So that's plus y squared plus 2ky plus k squared. Remember the standard form, it's equal to r squared. So the general form is equal to 0, but the standard form is equal to r squared. Why I showed you the other method is because this one is a bit longer. This you have to complete the square now. So this is one set of terms we're dealing with, and this is the other set. Recall that the completed square form is a, in brackets, x plus h squared plus k, where h, the formula for h, is b on 2a, and the formula for k is 4ac minus b squared, all on 4a. Also recall that the general form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. So looking at this in green, and then looking at this in blue, we can say that a, which is the coefficient of x squared, is 1 in this case. So that means that h would be equal to b. B is the coefficient of x, and in this case, the coefficient of x is 2h. The coefficient of x is what comes before x. So in this case, it's 2h, and that's what I would write in. So b is 2h divided by 2, and we said that a is 1. I would cancel the 2's to get h. So that's why I would put here. A is 1, so we don't need to write the 1, it's understood. X writing it in completed square form. X plus h in this case is h squared. So now we need to find k. This is k. This is the formula for k. We said that the value for a is 1. So that's 4 times 1. And we said that c is h squared minus b squared. B is 2h. And 2h squared is equal to 4h squared. So that's minus 4h squared. All on 4 times a, and a is 1. So I'm just going to erase for some space now. Continuing this. 4 times 1 is 4, times h squared is h squared, minus 4h squared, all over 4. H squared, 4h squared minus 4h squared is 0 divided by 4. And we know that 0 divided by any number is 0. So k in this case is 0, but we don't need to put that, right? We don't need to put the plus 0, it's understood. So that, if I wrote this first box in the completed square form, this would be the answer. X plus h squared, all squared. Then we do the same for the other box. So this one with the k and y terms. So it's plus, go back to my plus sign. Recall, completed square form is this. H squared plus k, where h is b on 2a. In this case, b is 2k, so h should be equal to 2k, and a is 1. So that's 2 times 1. So h would be equal to k. And that's why I would write here in brackets. Remember, the 1 is understood, so we don't need to put 1 here. X plus k squared, but now we need to find k as well. K here. K is equal to 4ac minus b squared all on 4a. 4 times a times c, which is k squared, minus b squared, 2k squared is equal to 4k squared. So minus 4k squared all on 4a, so that's 4 times 1. 4 times 1 4 times 1 times k squared is 4k squared minus 4k squared all on 4. Why? 4 times 1 is 4. Looking over here now, 4k squared minus 4k squared is 0. 0 divided by 4 is equal to 0. And that's why the answer, when I complete this, write this in completed square form, is x plus k squared is equal to r. R squared, sorry. So that is equal to r squared. And this is, oh, sorry, I put X instead of Y. I remember from previous classes, this is the standard form. So in the question that they gave you, you could take the general form of the equation, general form that they gave you, and use this method. So complete the square and all that to put it in the standard form. And when finding the center, remember the center. Okay, so let me give you an example. So say my example, when I did all this, my answer was x plus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to 25. To find the center now, h is 2. So h is equal to 2. K is minus 1. However, we know that the center, coordinates for the center, is in the form minus h minus k. And therefore, our answer for the center, since h is 2, then minus h has to be minus 2. And since k is minus 1, then minus k has to be 1. Same answer. And realize, if you want to find the radius as well, you already have it here. So r squared is equal to, r squared is 25. Squared is equal to 25. So if they wanted the radius, we know that it would be r is equal to 5. So that's the method I was trying to explain in class, just in case you wanted to know. This is also the past paper question that we did. I realized that I didn't record it, so I'll do it now. It was paper 2, 2019, number 3A. We did part I, and we did II. So the first part, they asked me, first step, remember the first step, write down the information that they gave you. So they told you that the center, so I'll just put C, is 1 minus 1. And they told us that it passes through the point. So this would pass through the point 4, 3. Remember, you could do a little sketch. So this would be 1, and this here would be like minus 1. So this is my center. This point right here would be my center. And 4, 3, that would be like, okay, let me write it down. 4 on the x-axis, so 4 and 3 would be like here. So I'll put that point in purple. And now I could draw my circle. They told me that the center passes through this purple point, so I could connect them. And we know that this would be the radius. They asked me in part I to find the value of the radius. We know a formula, D, so D stands for distance between 2 points, is equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. For this question, I want this point here to be my x2 and y2, and this to be my x1 and my y1. But remember, they're interchangeable. This is just how I want to do it. So in this case, it would be r, radius, is equal to the square root of 4 minus 1 is 3, so 3 squared is 9, plus y2 is 3, and y1 is minus 1. So that's 3 minus minus 1, which is the same as 3 plus 1, which is 4. 4. And we know that 4 squared is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. And that's why my answer for R in part I would be 5 units. For part II, they want you to write the equation of the circle in the general form. This is the general form. Remember that? So x squared plus y squared plus 2h plus 2hx plus 2ky plus c is equal to 0. So what I was showing the class, there are 2 ways to do this. So the first way, you could identify c, so the constant c, identify h, identify k. And you could do that by saying the center, the torus of the center is 1 minus 1. But we know that the coordinates of the center is in the form minus h comma minus k. But we don't want minus h and minus k. We want h and we want k. So if minus h is equal to 1, minus h is equal to 1, therefore h has to be equal to minus 1. And if minus k is minus 1, minus k is equal to minus 1, therefore k has to be equal to 1. So I can write here h is minus 1 and k is 1. Now we're looking for the constant, this constant right here, constant c. We know that the formula to find c is c is equal to h squared plus k squared minus r squared. H is minus 1 and minus 1 squared is 1. K is 1 and 1 squared is 1. And we found out in part I that r is equal to 5. So minus r squared would be equal to minus 25. 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 minus 25 is equal to minus 23. So C is minus 23. And the last thing to do now is to substitute divides. So the answer would be x squared plus y squared 2hx is the same as 2 multiplied by h multiplied by x. We know that h is minus 1. So 2 multiplied by minus 1. Let me write this out just for my visual learners. So 2hx x is the same as, that means the same as 2 times h times x. we know already that h is -1. So that's 2 times -1 times x. 2 times -1 is -2 times x. So we get -2x. Same concept goes for 2ky. 2ky is the same as 2 multiplied by k multiplied by y. We know, we found out that k is 1. So we say 2 times 1 times y. 2 times 1 is 2. So this is 2y. And I could put plus 2y here. C, we already found out that C is -23. So all I do, I put my -23 here, is equal to 0. And this is my answer. Right, so that was the first way. The second way you could do this, you could start off by writing the standard form. So first you could find the standard form and recall that the general form is just an expanded version of the standard form. So by expanding the standard form, which is x plus h squared plus y plus k squared is equal to r squared. By expanding this, I could get the general form. So knowing that, the first thing I could do is use the information to first write the standard form. This is what the question gave us. They told us that c is 1 minus 1. They told us that it passes 0.43. And we found out in part I that r is equal to 5. We also found out in the method we just did that h is -1 and that k is equal to 1. So what I have to do now is substitute the values. Put back the x, h is -1, so that's -1 squared plus y plus 1, because k is 1, squared is equal to r squared, since r is 5. 5 squared is equal to 25. So this is my standard form. And to find the general form now, what I have to do, I have to expand these brackets. So recall that the formula for right. Sorry about that. So recall that a plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and a minus b squared all squared, a minus b all squared is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So now looking at those, both of them, up here, a in this case would be x and b would be -1. So looking at this, well, and b would be 1. minus 1. Right. So this is the formula we follow in. X squared minus 2x plus 1. And then looking at this formula for this one, this would be y squared plus 2y plus 1 is equal to 25. And I could rearrange this now. So x squared, so I'll just cross off as I go, plus y squared. The aim is the general form, remember that. Minus 2x plus 2y plus 2 is equal to 25. But when doing the general form, you need to remember that is set equal to 0. So the equation, we aiming to put that equal to 0. Just put this in a box. So final answer, the general form would be, on your screen, x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 2y. Trying to make this, the entire equation, equal to 0. So we will minus 25 on both sides, and 2 minus 25 is minus 23 is equal to 0, which is the same answer from the previous method. So both of them work. So you could do whichever you want to do, doesn't matter.